Hey folks, welcome back. With this today in Tarkov, we're going to cover the news real quick first, but I'm also going to provide a bit of a quasi-guide walkthrough for the quests associated with the news in this event and stuff like that. We'll throw in some chapters so you guys know exactly where to go for the exact info you're after, so don't worry about the length of the video. You'll be able to figure out what you need without watching the whole thing if you don't want to. But as a favor, because I'm doing that for you, I'd appreciate a like or a comment to kind of offset the loss in the algorithm I get for you guys not watching the whole video, because YouTube cares about that stuff. So with that out of the way, let's get to the news. So first up, we have a new set of tasks and an ARG event that is currently ongoing. Now, ARG, if you don't know, stands for Alternate Reality Game. And basically in this instance, BSG takes the lore of Tarkov and kind of intertwines it with stuff in the real world, along with stuff on a virtual computer terminal called the ARRS. Now it deals with riddles, code breaking, and tons of other puzzles that people find stuff in the real world, as well as stuff on this computer program. Now this stuff is all way beyond my interest. I just not something I'm into, but I know a lot of folks are. If you are, the best place to deal with this is honestly on Nice Guys Discord. There's a whole group of guys over there that get together to solve these, and it's a pretty cool group of people. They help out the community a ton, and it's a lot of fun for them. So if you're interested in that, go check that stuff out over there. Now, as stated here, for successfully completing the quest chain of this in-game event, which isn't done yet, we don't have all of the quests, you're going to get several rewards, many of which I'm assuming you're going to get in this picture. So it looks like there's an ammo case, a moonshine, some Tetrises, military flash drives. I'm not sure what stim that is, labs cards, military circuit boards. Can't quite tell what this crap back here is, along with a big mystery item. Oh, this amulet too, which I believe is the cultist amulet that lets you not be attacked by cultists. But the big question mark is an item, some unique in-game item that will be available for display in the Hall of Fame in the hideout with your player profile. The item will be retained through wipes. In other words, it won't go away with a wipe. It also comes with an exclusive achievement. So achievement that you can only get doing this task, and you probably won't be able to get again in the future. Now, what the item is, I think somebody's already data mined it and leaked it, but I hate spoilers, so I've done my best to avoid it. If you want to find it, I'm sure you can find it out there. Now, we'll get into the quest stuff later in the video. Again, if that's what you were after, just click on the chapter down below, go right to it. But we're gonna get through the rest of the news real quick and get you caught up. So big news first, Nikita's been really busy on Twitter. We got our first look at Proper in game. That's what this is here. You know, this isn't Nikita accusing a arena breakout of stealing Proper, which is pretty much why we've seen wire mesh the last couple of days. But it is pretty cool. This shows Proper in game kind of style of what we're going to get to see, which is really cool. And I can't emphasize enough how important this is going to be. Traders in game versus instant access to them in your stash changes Tarkov in a very, very fundamental way. And it's such a big change, it's very difficult to predict or even understand at this point. But it will change Tarkov and how we play it completely. Now, on top of this, we also got a view of Mechanic's workshop. So you're actually going to go into his workshop, which is kind of cool because we've only seen pictures of it for a long time. But that's 100% what this is Mechanic's workshop. So just more information pointing to that in-game traders are closer than I even thought they were. Now, like I said, this is all coming from Nikita directly, and he's been super busy on Twitter lately. I think he's posted more in the last week or two than he has in like 2 years combined. So I'm going to avoid most of the nonsense and drama though, because honestly, it's draining, and it's pretty dumb in my opinion to let a video game drain you that much. If you're into that shit, go for it. I'm just done with it. There are plenty of creators out there covering this shit top to bottom with multiple videos a day. So I'm happy to stay away from it because you can get it from there. If you want more of my direct opinion on it, we do talk about it on stream from time to time. So you can come attempt and help beat the dead horse there if you want. I'm sure it'll come up in stream. But on to other things. Next up, if you bought the Unheard edition, BSG has finally moved forward with their compensation that they promised or laid out in their clarification a while ago, where they talked about Unheard edition is going to get a $50 coupon for Tarkov purchases. That has been moved forward with now. You have that now if you bought the Unheard edition. And they're doing this because they took some of the stuff away from the Unheard edition and they gave some of this like PvE and gave it to everybody. So this strikes me as them trying to make up for that. But there is a catch with this. I know some of you guys were expecting a refund or a gift card or something, but that's not coming. The coupon is only usable on your profile on the EFT website. So what that means is you go into your profile, and right here, you can buy whatever shows up in the expansions. And right now that's apparel, so you can unlock the different clothes. You can get co-op mode, which is not PvE mode. This is co-op mode, as well as the stash upgrades. And again, this coupon is a one-time use deal. So if you spend $48 of the 50, the other $2 just go away, never be used again. So try to find a combination that uses up as much of the money as you can, or just don't care about the $2 or $1 or whatever you end up with not getting. Now, potentially, I think the PvE mode is going to show up here for people who don't have Unheard or EOD. So potentially you could save it for that and use it for the PvE mode. But I would probably recommend against that because things can get screwed up. The coupon could vanish, and it could be a long time before that PvE mode shows up here. So just be warned. In addition to this, they also moved forward with giving everybody who doesn't have EOD or Unheard of Edition their 2 stash lines. I believe this is the same as the 2 we got from doing a quest last year at the end of the wipe. I think that's the same 2 lines, though I'm not 100% sure. Either way, you're getting 2 bonus stash lines. They should show up in the bottom of your inventory. Just poof. I don't think there's anything you have to do. If there is, if you've gotten these and you have to go to the website and activate something, make sure to let us know down in the comments so that we do know that for sure. Now, we also got some work in progress stuff, pictures of the crossover between Arena and the main Tarkov game. These are images showing this one here specifically. Looks like it's in Tarkov itself, and you are able to transfer money to Arena. So here they've got 250,000 rubles and 500 USD going over to Arena with a commission of 24,000 rubles. So I don't know if that's like 8, I can't quite tell what that is. 7, 5, 6, 7, 8%. I don't really care about doing the math. There is a commission. You are going to lose money in that transfer, which kind of fits with how BSG works with stuff like this. So it's just another money sink they have and how it functions. Take it or leave it, I guess. Again, this is also a work in progress. This might change. Now, these are both encouraging for me and a letdown for a few reasons. Encouraging because it shows it's on its way to being implemented. We actually have hard proof in front of us, and we can see the actual representation of what it is. So that's good. We get to see it. But the letdown for me is the fact that it's mid-May. And we're only just now seeing work in progress screenshots for this. And this is something that a lot of us were expecting in the December launch. And honestly, it probably would have been better if it had been. And BSG themselves earlier this year put a date on this of late spring, which I think we're pretty much there. Now, we know as of the last roadmap that the syncing is supposed to be coming with patch 1.8 of Arena. But when that date has yet to be revealed, and it probably won't be until the day of the patch. They just don't tell us dates. Now, if you've avoided Arena for a while, pretty much like me, I haven't opened it up in forever. You probably don't know that they added a new game mode. With patch 1.7, as they show here, they added Last Hero, which is actually a really good and cool and fun game mode, though Arena still struggles from lack of players. And to be honest with you, I think if this game mode had been with the launch back in December, the game would probably be in a lot better shape because this is a lot more fun than anything we've had so far. So with that, you're pretty much caught up on everything that's important in the news. So let's cover the event tasks and everything associated with that. Okay, so now I have done all these tasks, but I'm going to do them on the wiki. I'm going to go through this because one, it shows you where you can go find this information and how to get around the wiki if you don't know. Plus, it's just easier to display it. So the first task you're going to get is called a Tarkov mystery. It's going to come from Skier. Now, if you don't have it, people have been hung up. There's 2 things. One, you need to do burning rubber, which is one of the early ground zero tasks. Basically, you have to take the car at ground zero. Now, if you fail this, if you didn't do these and you got to level 20 and they fail, or however BSG has dealt with all of that stuff, I don't know if you're screwed on this and they need to patch it or if they have. But people have been not having this task. Sometimes it just requires you to restart your PC, restart your game. And other people have found other workarounds, though I'm not sure 100% what they are. But I have seen people as low as level 16 with this task. Now, after this, there's technically a total of 11 or 12 tasks, but because they branch and kind of come back together, you only really do 6 or 7, depending on what you go with. And these come in batches based on what we talked about earlier, the ARG folks, as they make progress through the codes and the lore and all that kind of stuff. More quests get added. And that's 100% going to happen. We're still in the middle of the process of this. As we speak right now, there's somebody going to Virginia to find a box on the ground somewhere with some codes or something in it. I don't know. You have to go see Nice Guy to figure out exactly what that is. So very well, more quests could be added, tasks could be added that we cover here. before I even get this video published, but we will keep you guys updated as we get through them and do them. Now, the good news is these are nowhere near as difficult or time consuming as some of the previous event tasks like this they've done in the past, which makes these completely accessible, in my opinion, for even casual players, especially now that we have some of the more difficult stuff figured out, and they've actually even made a couple of these easier from when we first started. So first things first, let's talk about the items you need to get, so that if you're just watching this video and you get 5 more minutes in and there's like an item you need and you're like, shit, why didn't you tell me? There's some specific things we'll talk about. Okay, so first up, you need to get these new flash drives. There are 2 kinds and they look identical, right? But one is the secure flash drive. This is the one we've always had. The encrypted flash drive is a new one. So make sure you're getting those encrypted flash drives. And they'll have a little yellow check down here if you have the task. So it'll be easier to tell apart. But both of these still do spawn in world. On top of that, and I don't have any here, but you are going to need 3 found in raid PC CPUs, 3 found in raid RAMs, and 2 found in raid SSDs. So make sure you're hitting computers, and finally you'll find SSDs in filing cabinets, but the best place to find the other parts are computers. Now, as far as the flash drives, filing cabinets. That's where I found all of them, except I think one of mine I got out of a safe. And other people have said they found them in jackets and stashes, the scav case, stuff like that. And then the one last thing you're going to need to find, well, you don't need to, but if you find it, you're in big money, is the USEC cottage key. This USEC cottage room key is a new key. And yes, it is selling for like 1.2, 1.3 million. Do not buy this key. If you find it, use it. You can use it a couple of times. You see this guy's 37 out of 40 because the found and raid thing is removed right now. You can use this key and then sell it worth a bunch of money. Do not buy it. I guess you could buy it, use it, and flip it if you wanted to, but the price is going to continue to get cheaper, especially as this video gets out and people realize they don't need to buy this because you don't technically need the key. Also, make sure that you have an intel center built and you don't start any crafts because you will need your intel center to craft some things eventually, and you'll just be stuck on the quest waiting for that 37-hour intel craft or whatever the hell it is to finish before you can go any further, which is kind of frustrating. So once you find the flash drive, you need to find 11 of them, okay? You need to have 1 found in raid and 10 of them non-found in raid. And technically, yes, these can be put on the flea market, or at least they could. I'll double check here again. Yes, you can list them on the flea market. I'm not going to list this, but the flea market fee isn't too bad. I'm sure they're being snatched up and flipped pretty crazily all the time. I have yet to see one on the flea market, so they're selling instantly, but that might change as we get down the road here a little bit, so it's worth checking out, but they're pretty easy to find. So you need 1 found in raid, and that is for this first quest for Tarkov Mystery. You give that to Skier, and he gives you some rewards, and with that, you'll move on to the next task, which is Breakthrough, which is just, there's nothing you do. You give the thumb drive to Skier, he gives you another task, he gives you the thumb drive back, and then you have to take the thumb drive because you get the next task from Mechanic, which is Decryption Hurdles Part 2. And this is with Mechanic, and this is the part where you need to turn in all those PC parts. You give that encrypted flash drive that he gave you back to, that Skier gave you, to Mechanic, along with all these other parts, and then he gives you rewards as long as your next quest, which is Decryption Hurdles Part 2, which he wants you to go to Reserve and plant a military gyro, as well as launch a yellow signal flare. So the place you plant this gyro, he gives you one. Keep that in mind. You don't have to buy it. He just gives you one. You go into Reserve, you go up to the dome, all the way up top, all the way into the inside of the dome. At the top ring inside of there's this white metal box. You've got to plant inside of that. Now be super careful because you are definitely exposed up here, and people are definitely going to be looking for it. But you get that planted. I think it was a 25-second plant or something. It was pretty long. It was kind of nerve-wracking. Once you have that planted, then you need to shoot a flare off. Now the signal flare goes off based on altitude, how high it goes. So you need to make sure you're standing somewhere on top of the dome building. Don't be inside the dome. I went outside on the ledge and shot it off to kind of the side. Make sure you're careful how you shoot it so you don't hit the dome, because that you won't progress the quest. If you're worried about that or you're not good at shooting flares, bring a second one with you. They're cheap. They don't weigh that much. You buy them from Proper, and then you're good to go. Even if you screw up, you'll have another one that you can try again. And if you screw up 2 of them, there's no help for you. You should probably just uninstall the game. Kidding, but seriously, don't screw up 2 of them. So once that's done, the next one's pretty straightforward too. You got to go to customs and kill 10 scavs. No other requirements other than that. Get the 10 killed, and then you're pretty much done with Mechanic. What this does is it unlocks a decrypted flash drive craft, and this is what it looks like after you progress it and you get it finished. This is what it is right here. It's this: you take an encrypted flash drive and it turns it into a decrypted flash drive, which is a quest item. So make sure you're not crafting this flash drive here or anything like that. It's specifically this 15-minute. It's a 15-minute craft. My skills have got it down to 11 minutes, but there you go, 15 minutes. Now this is where your choice comes up. When you get that decrypted flash drive, you can either turn it into Peacekeeper, which sends you down one path, and we'll talk about that in a second, or you can turn it into Skier, which sends you down another path. These paths are pretty similar with the exception of one task. I ended up going down the Skier path. We'll go through them all here, but specifically I went down the Skier path because it requires you to plant items versus kill PMCs in an area, which is more controllable by me, a little less RNG and quicker to do, so that's why I did it. But if you want a PvP, and maybe later there's a lot more PvP to do with this, and you want to kill people versus plant, there's that too. The areas are the same, so essentially you're either planting cameras or you're killing the people planting the cameras. So kind of a way to force player interaction. All right, so if you go down Skier or Mechanic, it doesn't matter which one you go, the next step is the same. You hand over the flash drive, which then leads to the next task for each of them. For Skier, you end up down Take 2, which is what requires the 10 non-found in raid encrypted flash drives. And for Peacekeeper, it's called Getting to the Core. Same thing, 10 found in raid flash drives. And what that is this is like a little code down here, and mine's unlocked. When you first get this, it's going to be 20 little stars, and each flash drive unlocks two letters of this thing, and there's 20 letters, so 10 flash drives. Now for you, this doesn't really matter. It's just progressing the quest. This was important for the ARG guys. This code actually helped them do some stuff over there. Right now, we're just playing catch up. So once you have that with Skier, let's say you do that, you turn in all 10 of those. They're 7 minutes apiece. So if you just sit there and crank it, it's going to take you about an hour and a half to get through them. I did it over several hours. I did 2 or 3, had to leave my computer, came back. So yes, I think it is. I don't like how they do this because it requires you to just hit the button 10 times every 7 minutes or whatever. And you can't queue it. And it would have been better just to have like one craft that was 70 minutes now, because outside of the ARG, this process doesn't make sense. But we'll see if they change that. But regardless, rambling, you get that done. It gives you this document with decrypted data. Now it looks like an Intel case like this. It looks like an Intel file, but instead of a 1x2, it is a 1x1, and it is a quest item. And then you turn that in to Skier or Peacekeeper, depending on which path you go down. And then that takes you to the next. This is where the two tasks really split and show a difference. With Skier, you've got Photo Hunt, which requires you to plant 4 Wi-Fi cameras at ground zero. The first one is at a flower pot that is by the parking. So all of this is in the UN headquarters building. The first one is at a flower pot by the parking garage side. All the way on the north side of the building. You go in the parking garage, and the door that actually leads into the building, you have this flower pot right here that you got to plant in. It's like on the right. I couldn't only get it to show up unless I was like in the right plant. So you kind of got to look around to find it. The second one is on the stairs next to this big metal barricade. This is, if you walk in the building, it's on the left. It's not on the right. The right goes up to the offices. There's stairs on the left that don't go up to anything. That is where you plant this. The next one is an Office 3, but before you go upstairs, you need to go around and get the Terra Group Science Office key. I don't remember if you remember doing this in Ground Zero, but down on the bottom, you got to go down and around to the scientist, get the key off of him. It's a one-use key. Put it in your secure container in case you die. You've got it. But then you go upstairs. Office 3 it's on your right. It's labeled. It's got a big 3. You don't need a key for this, but you go in. You go towards the back of the office, and on your left there's a bookcase. You need to plant it in the middle kind of shelves. Took me a sec to find the spot. Be careful here. Make sure you crouch down because people across the way can see into these windows, and you don't want to get domed doing this by stank rats sitting there trying to ruin your day or something. The next one is the next office over. This is the one you need the key. Office 4. You walk in the door and go straight hard to your left. You can plant this one prone. That's what I did. I proned. I crawled up to the edge of the desk and I planted it prone so I was safe from being shot. After that, you just extract. You don't need to survive the raid. So if you die after that, you're fine. You're still complete. But extracting is always better, obviously. And you're done with the Skier quest. Now for Peacekeeper side of this, which is no peeking, you're killing the people. You're stopping the people from planting the cameras. And we'll pull up the full-size image here so we can look at it. Basically, this is the Terra Group building right here, this little area. You can kill anybody in the big whole square here that's showing. So that's basically the whole park area, whatever you want to call it, the entrance area, as well as the parking garage, will count. So bigger area, but still PMCs you need to kill versus planting cameras. And it's 5. You got to kill 5 PMCs. Now, both of those quests, when you complete them, they reconverge back to Forgotten Acquaintance, which is with Mechanic. Now, this one is you go to Lighthouse. You need to go to the garage, the lower cottage, the lower chalets, should I say, the blue roof chalets. You know, there's the garage area, the garage building. You need to go into there and go inside and go upstairs. And you go to this room right here. This used to be open and unlocked. It's closed and locked now. For this task, you just have to go up to the room. It finishes, and then but you do have to survive and extract to complete this. If you're doing Lighthouse, I suggest getting the Red Rebel because you can get out right there. The extract is right there with Red Rebel. It makes life a lot easier. Now, after you do that, you've got to go right back in, and this is where the key comes in. You've got to get into this room, but thankfully you don't need the key. You can get in through the window. Now, the way I got up there is, and I have max strength, so this might not be doable for you, and I don't know if there's any other ways up there. You might be able to climb up on the truck on one side and climb up on the balcony. I'm not sure. But you can jump from this rock to the roof, run around, break the glass, and you can vault in. If you can't do this, yes, you're going to need to get the key. But like I said, worst case, you can buy it and resell it for now and get into there. Once you're in there, you're looking for a little hard drive. Now, I found it on the shelves above the bed on the mountainside of the room. That's where I found it. But according to the wiki, there are 7 potential spawns right now. So you're gonna have to look around in the room. Looks like there's one in the kind of coat closet, book closet kind of thing. One on the desk, one on the plant shelf above the desk. There's one at the foot of the bed, kind of by the door, between that and the shelves, kind of leaning up against the corner. There's one underneath the pillow underneath that bed, and then again on the shelf above the other bed. So you check both shelves above both beds are potential spawns. Once you get that, you just got to get out and extract with it, and you turn it back into Mechanic, and that's pretty much it, at least for now. More is coming, and once we get those, we will make sure to update you guys. I'm not going to do one video per task, but if we get 3 or 4 of them through the weekend, I'll do a video Sunday, maybe Saturday, but Sunday, getting you guys updated and caught up. Now, for how long are these tasks going to go, it's hard to say. I'm not sure. I'm leaning towards they're going to last longer than not, but there is no guarantee. BSG has cut these off pretty quick once they're done before in the past. So if you want these rewards, I suggest trying to get as much done as soon as you can so you can keep pace as the new quests are added. Plus, staying ahead means the quests are usually easier. If you're trying to do them with everybody else in the back, there's more competition and more people you're running into. So the earlier you get it done, the easier it is. Now, with all that out of the way, we're done. We're caught up. I want to take a quick second to soapbox a little bit and answer some of the more frequent questions I've been getting about all the bullshit in Tarkov. This isn't me dramaing, it's just me explaining my stance because I have to do it all the time and I get tired of it. So now I can point people to this. First off, obviously, we're still doing Tarkov content. I stopped doing content at this whole shitstorm with the Unreal because I believed BSG wasn't keeping their promise, basically their contract with EOD owners by not giving them PvE. Now, for me personally, I don't give a shit. I don't want to play PvE Tarkov. It doesn't matter to me. Right now, if I could give my slot to somebody else, I would, but that's not important. They rectified that. They backed off of it. They took it away from Unheard, which sucks for those folks. That's part of the $50 coupon, I think. And they gave it to EOD, and they're going to make it purchasable by everybody else eventually. And so that fixed that problem in my mind. But in the process, they did fuck up pretty bad with communication. They did make things worse. I don't like some of the stuff they did, but it's not like a deal breaker. I don't like it, but that doesn't mean that I should stop playing the game. It wasn't stuff that I was like, oh, I'm not going to play the game anymore. So yes, I am back, but no, it's not the same. I do feel kind of betrayed by them, especially because we haven't gotten answers on some of the more egregious things like true believers and stuff like that. And I'm sure this is the same for some of you guys, but I love this game. And I love to make content for it. I love to make content for you guys. And I can do that all while not having the same level of trust with BSG as I did in the past. Now, in addition to this, the kind of perfect storm, I almost always step back from Tarkov towards the end of wipes and just go play other games. I've been doing Tarkov for over 4.5 years now, so late wipe gets boring for me. It's just repetitive. There's nothing to progress. There's nothing really to do, nothing new. So until an event comes along like this, I'm not interested. But we have an event which brings me back. Combine that with the fact we had Gray Zone Warfare, Star Citizen patches, and Manor Lord, some other games that I'm interested in. I've been playing those. But Tarkov seems to be kind of like that psycho girlfriend or boyfriend that you can't get away from, you hate, but when you're gone, you always tend to go back to them. Maybe a bad analogy, but it kind of feels like that. But I still enjoy the game. Now, I haven't bought the new Unheard edition, and I don't know if I'm going to. It's not because I'm protesting it or I don't believe in supporting BSG or, I don't want to give them more money or whatever. The biggest thing keeping me from doing that is I don't want to start the wipe with all the crap that's in there. The thing that I get out of Tarkov right now is progression. Early wipe progression, and the process of that is the most fun for me that I get out of any wipe. So getting all that starter gear just takes that progression away from me, so I'm not super interested in that. Now, the next one is what do I think about Arena Breakout Infinite, or am I gonna play it? And the answer is no. Now, I made that decision a long time ago for my own reasons. I'm not gonna get into it. Some of them are personal, some of them are business, some of them are just like, I don't like that game, like the way it plays. And the recent, so far, pretty much unsubstantiated accusations of stealing IP. I say there's a lot of smoke, but not officially fire yet, as well as how they really treated a lot of content creators that I consider friends, treated them really poorly and shady in a lot of ways, has only reinforced my decision to steer clear of it. But if you want to go play it and give up Tarkov, that's your prerogative. You want to play it and Tarkov, more power to you. You shouldn't be looking for my approval to do so any more than I should be looking for your approval on what game I enjoy or what content I make. Now, this whole process opened my eyes as a content creator to something that I thought was a bit further off, or at least I expected later. I knew I was eventually going to need to move away from Tarkov. It's just going to happen. You can't make content on a game forever, unless that game's WoW or EVE Online. I guess you can do that forever. I just expected that this to happen closer to 1.0 rather than BSG to shoot themselves in the foot, light themselves on fire, and then jump in a vat of acid, which is kind of what it felt like the last couple of weeks were. So you're going to start to see more content from me on this channel for other games, and I hope you'll stick through it with me, especially as I try to learn to do that and learn the jives of different games and different communities. For right now, it's still going to be guides and probably news updates, just like you've seen for Gray Zone Warfare now, but we'll start doing some Star Citizen stuff. But I do hope to get into doing kind of reviews of early releases. I'll go spend my money on the game on the early release and let you guys know if it's worthwhile or not. And then as well get into some more narrative gameplay and see how that goes. But as always, I appreciate you guys for watching my content and supporting me on this little journey. I hope to continue to provide you guys with valuable content that doesn't waste your time and makes gaming a little bit easier for you. So again, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in Tarkov.